Have you ever encountered people like this around you? When it comes to money, they immediately boast about recently earning hundreds of thousands. When discussing relationships, they constantly flaunt their friendship with some industry big shot. When talking about emotions, their catchphrase is always, "I am the happiest person in the world." But if you observe closely, you will find that the more someone loves to show off, the worse they end up doing. Just as Mr. Yang Jiang said, don't flaunt happiness, don't flaunt sweetness, don't flaunt success, and don't flaunt achievements. Physics tells us that exposure always results in the loss of moisture. Concealment is the best way to preserve freshness. Happiness is about nurturing your own heart, not about pleasing others' eyes. True happiness in life is not something that is flaunted, but something that is cultivated with care. Having lived through half of life, I increasingly understand that the best way to nurture oneself is encapsulated in one word: conceal. Conceal words, restrain your speech, and grasp propriety. Writer Lu Yong once shared an experience that profoundly impacted him. Years ago, he and his wife were traveling in Paris. During lunch, their tour bus stopped near the Louvre. Relying on his previous experience visiting the Louvre, Lu Yong pulled his wife along to visit the museum. After returning, he boasted enthusiastically about how they had managed to see so many world-famous artworks in such a short time, and even bought souvenirs. The others, who had not gone, showed expressions of disbelief. One woman even enviously asked, "Were the tickets expensive? How much did they cost?" Lu Yong was taken aback. It was only then that he realized, in their haste to visit, they had actually forgotten to buy tickets. As Lu Yong stood there awkwardly, unsure of how to respond, the woman noticed his discomfort. She immediately changed the subject, pointing off in the distance and saying, "Look, isn't that the Eiffel Tower?" She also intercepted others who were about to ask Lu Yong more questions, smoothly steering the conversation away and deftly resolving his embarrassment. Lu Yong was deeply impressed by the woman's actions. From then on, in his conversations, he learned to always leave some room, never to speak too bluntly, and to always consider others' feelings. Eventually, he became the most beloved and eloquent speaker in the hearts of his fans. In this world, it is harder to know what words to say and what not to say than it is to be eloquent. As it is written in the Huainanzi, 1,000 perfect words do not equal a single silent moment. Some words should be concealed and not broadcast everywhere. Some matters, once understood, should not be dwelled upon. Saying what shouldn't be said, speaking without restraint, only reveals one's ignorance. Knowing how to restrain your speech and guard your tongue is a mark of high moral character. After reaching middle age, managing your words well, avoiding these 3 types of speech, will lead to a broader life path. 1. Don't ask probing questions. Instead of pushing too hard and inviting trouble, learn to stop at the right time and leave yourself a way out. 2. Don't speak of others' private matters. Not exposing others' privacy easily is a basic kindness and a sign of great character. 3. Don't boast arrogantly. Truly emotionally intelligent people don't boast recklessly but speak with moderation, humility, and low profile. Knowing what to say and when to stop is not only a sign of clarity in dealing with others, but also a wisdom in life. Conceal actions. Work hard in good times. Study in adversity. I once read the story of a netizen's personal experience. 20 years ago, he left his stable job to venture into business. At that time, there were countless ways to make money, but he had a keen eye and caught on to the state's support for youth entrepreneurship, getting into the fruit business. During the prosperous period of his career, he worked diligently, strictly controlled the quality of his goods, and sincerely served every customer. With his attentive service and honest management, his business thrived. He seized the opportunity to open more than 10 branches in quick succession. A few years later, he transformed into a millionaire boss. By chance, He invested in the furniture business, hoping to create another successful venture. However, in the first year, he encountered market turbulence, losing everything. His fruit business also suffered, and he was left with only his original store. On one side, his career was severely hit, sinking him into a low point. On the other side, he had the burdens of elderly parents and young children, the hardships of middle age weighing heavily on him. Old Who, as he was called, was deeply frustrated and depressed, as if he were a man in his twilight years, sighing in despair every day. At a friend's suggestion, Old Who began to read. The process of reading quietly was also a cleansing of his soul. He gradually realized that his failure was due to not analyzing the market carefully and blindly investing. After this epiphany, Old Who regained his confidence and meticulously managed his business. Slowly, his fruit store's business started to flourish again. There is a saying, "Books are like medicine. They can heal when taken at the right time." Good books, like good medicine, can help us relieve worries, solve doubts, and get out of difficult situations. In this world, we inevitably encounter countless hardships. When facing adversity, choose to enlighten yourself through reading. In times of prosperity, seize opportunities and work diligently. Naturally, you will be able to control your destiny. In the second half of life, doing these three things well will ensure a well-managed life. 1. Find joy and contentment, not worrying about gains and losses. The more you worry, the more you lose. Understanding contentment and going with the flow will bring more luck. 2. Work diligently without worrying about the outcome. Every effort will yield its own reward. Doing your best in the present is the best result. 3. Continue reading to expand your knowledge. As your level of understanding increases, your perspective will broaden, and all difficulties will be resolved in the grander scheme. A person who knows how to conceal actions, who can do things properly, will have a well-ordered life. Conceal emotions. Cultivate your emotions and maintain inner peace. Mr. Tao Singji said, "After a heavy rain, there are two kinds of people. One looks up at the sky and sees the blue and the beauty. The other looks down at the ground and sees the mud and despair." When living in the quagmire of life, those who know how to control their emotions and maintain a calm mind will always handle any situation with composure. Our country's classical poetry expert, Ms. Yi Jiaying, was such a person. In her youth, Ms. Ye's mother fell ill and passed away. Witnessing the death of her closest relative, she grieved silently, expressing her emotions through poetry. Later, her husband encountered hardships, becoming twisted and violent in character. He often vented his frustrations on her, yelling and bullying her, breaking and throwing things in fits of anger at the slightest displeasure. For the sake of her two daughters, she endured her anger with great patience and remained calm. She continued to teach her students daily. After finally enduring half a lifetime of suffering, just as she was about to enjoy family happiness, she received news that her eldest daughter had died in a car accident. She grieved deeply but did not speak, holding firm in her resolve. She personally organized the memorial service to say goodbye to her daughter. In the face of life's many hardships, Mizzy was never easily defeated, nor did she let her emotions take over. Instead, she devoted herself to her career, making great contributions to the development of classical poetry. Motivational speaker Tony Robbins once said, "The secret to an outstanding life is knowing how to control the power of emotions, rather than letting that power control you." Truly powerful people have long since learned to control their emotions with reason, handling problems with calmness. Life is always a mix of joys and sorrows. Only by maintaining emotional stability can one cultivate inner peace and face the ups and downs of life calmly. In the latter half of life, achieving these three things will bring peace and ease. 1. Practice detachment. Clear your mind. By letting go of unnecessary thoughts and focusing on what makes you happy, you can experience more of life's joys. 2. Stop inner conflict and distance yourself from pain. Inner turmoil is like a self-imposed shackle. When you stop it, pain will leave you, and you will regain your freedom in life. 3. Focus on yourself and be true to yourself. By paying more attention to your own feelings and not being disturbed by external influences, you can quietly be yourself and live the life you desire. Life is never perfect. In the face of life's inevitabilities and fate's merciless tricks, the best way to fight back is to remain unafraid, unshaken, neither sorrowful nor joyful. Silently conceal your pain, concentrate, and cultivate a calm and serene heart in the mire of life. As the ancient philosopher Giguzi said, the way of the sage lies in concealment. In this world, understanding concealment is the wisest way to live. Being good at concealment is a person's exceptional talent and the highest level of cultivation in dealing with others. In interacting with others, concealing words and grasping propriety keeps one away from trouble. In facing adversity, concealing actions and diligently reading allows one to break through and resolve difficulties. When immersed in sorrow, concealing the heart and remaining calm helps one weather the storms unafraid. May we all learn to conceal ourselves in the remaining years, to advance and retreat with measure, to act with moderation, and to continuously pursue a better self. Well, that's the end of today's sharing. If you like this video, don't hesitate to like, subscribe, share, and leave a comment below. See you in the next video.